Is a videographer and an independent journalist who films protests and public debates around free speech and civil liberties. He was filming a public debate at the London College of Community.
Last week when the confrontation broke out, didn't it? It kicked off in their road, didn't it?
Absolutely.
And what happened as a result of that? What happened?
Well, literally, he was arrested. He was arrested at the scene and has since been charged with common assault and obstructing a police officer. He's speaking to us today about what actually happened and his wider experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it.
Absolutely. I was appalled and disgusted by the way that the police handled the whole thing. And in fact, we're going to show you, our viewers, the video right now before we bring him on to share with us his experience of what happened this week at a university campus. So just watch this and we'll be right back with you.
Well, they already have come.
Yeah.
We don't like it because they're trying to take our land.
Right. Oh. I have the right to conduct a citizen's arrest, and he is under arrest. I'm detaining him under my breach of police powers. He's not going anywhere. He can sit here until the police arrive. He's sitting here. He's biting me. He's biting me. He's not going anywhere. He's just attacked me. He's under arrest.
Who are you to arrest him, bro?
I don't. I just get his arm. Get his other arm. Get his other arm. No, this man is under arrest.
Oi, you fucking get off him.
No, bro.
Get off him. Cop, get off him.
He's just assaulting me.
This is the left guys who've currently just been assaulted for having debates with people.
We've just been insulted by a number of people. Come over, flip the table, smashing camera equipment. I grabbed the man who did it, put him under citizen's arrest, asked for the police to be called. University staff have come in, assaulted me, even though I clearly indicated he's under a citizen's arrest. I had him there, I said, call the police, call the police, call the police. So I requested that you lot were called. Yeah. And the university staff have come in and assaulted me and helped him get away.
Britain needs mass deportations. This is my organisation, very similar to... that's going to roll people up, mate, isn't it? If you don't want things to kick off, I suggest you don't create a situation.
So we have to live in a society where we can't say what a leading polling party in the country is.
Let me see the footage. This is the man who attacked me. Are you going to arrest him?
Step away. Step away.
Wait. Are you going to...
Step away.
Wait, you ease up. He just went and pushed me really aggressively. You approaching someone else. No, don't touch me. Your colleagues just assaulted me. Learn some manners. We've been talking with United. Whoa. How? For what? Help! Get the criminal. Where are you little... I have done no crime. I've been here engaging in a public, peaceful debate, and this is how the police act. This is not acceptable. In England, this is meant to be some sort of democracy. We are meant to have free speech in this country. And my ancestors went through 2 world wars. But this country, I can't breathe. You are criminals. You're violent Tuesday criminals. The minute you knew what was on that banner, you decided, let's go for him. Go for the right winger. Reach up the right winger. You people disgust me. You are corrupt. You are Sadiq Khan's lapdogs. You're a stud staffel. You're a Stasi.
Why is the guy that assaulted me not arrested?
What? You think that's fun? Yeah, hurt me some more.
Well, there we go, folks. Incredible scenes. And we have the man himself with us, Will Coleshill of Resist. GB, Resist the Media. Good friend of ours, Rogue, isn't he? Met him on many occasions. Does an amazing sterling work at covering protests. And from the lockdown era right up until now, Will, those scenes, mate, I mean, we've got our own thoughts, which we'll share in a few moments, Rogue, but absolutely disgusting the way the police handle it.
It wasn't just the way the police handled it. It was the way that everybody was jumping on. You had fluid drink thrown at your face. You were bitten. I mean, there was just a whole array of things that happened when you were trying to actually stop the person that was actually creating the problems. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, what was it all meant to be? The day on the campus. You were Monty were there. What was going on? What was the event about?
Well, I think people can go on Freedom Watch and they can look at some of the previous debates. And I mean, you've got debates that have been done on climate change. I mean, we've got footage coming out from that fairly soon. And there are debates on big government. and this is just another top issue in the country. So they've said that this is apparently they've implied that it's your problem if you go down somewhere and you decide that you're going to have a public debate. Well, I don't believe that's the way it works in England. I don't believe that's what our ancestors fought for. Ancestors fought for this to be a free country, and people have the right to go down and have a debate and express an opinion. We are constantly inundated with the bigoted opinions of the left. You see all of their rainbow, what most people call, normal people call, nonce flags all over the place, which, you know, promote racism. You see the black, the brown, the racial supremacy of the left. It's disgusting. I mean, I was talking yesterday about Diane Abbott, who is, you know, a racist. I mean, when my nan was working the bank down in Hackney, back in the day, she had to walk past Diane Abbott giving her racist spiel about the white people, the white people, the white people. So if you're a lefty, you get to go out, give your opinion. Even worse, because they're lefties, they're going out and they're giving their racist opinions. Meanwhile, if you simply, you know, state an opinion, or you happen to be filming, because I was going down as a cameraman, for free for my mate to help him out, and you can be beaten up.
Nuts.
I just found it, you know, just intolerable. I couldn't imagine, like, you obviously were bitten. So when you were then obviously taken away and then you were obviously put in the van, like, you had injuries. How many injuries? What are we talking about?
I'm not going to give an exhaustive list of injuries, but people can see amongst some of them the biting. I was punched, kicked. There was a guy who was choking me, and you could see the police obviously crushing me and preventing me from breathing. And obviously, if I'd been a leftist, like, you know, then they would have knelt to me.
Yep.
You know, and they would have done their sort of Black Power speech, a la George Floyd. But I think when you're right wing, you don't, you know, all of the melanin sort of drains from your skin or something.
Yeah, I mean, see, I find it funny, you know, that it's the left wing kind of pearl clutching, kind of be kind and nice and everyone welcome here people that are the ones who are normally more aggressive and more violent in situations like this. Because watching the footage, Monty was literally just there for an open debate on immigration, right? We know we've got massive problems in this country. I mean, it's evidenced by the fact that we've got uncontrolled males coming into our country at an extraordinary, almost 65,000 since Labour came into power. Clearly, it's a huge issue. And an open debate on a university campus, which is the home of debate and discussion in the first place, instead of it being a debate, you had some nut job, in my opinion, come across, lift the table, throw it in the air, and literally attack Monty. At which stage you came in to protect him. You were just filming it, as you said. You were just there as a journalist filming what was going on. And what I find surprising is how the police handled it. Now, I understand they intervened, but you made a citizen arrest, didn't you, at the time?
I'm not going to go fully into all of that. Like I've said, so there's going to be a court case ongoing. I am currently being charged as if I'm some sort of criminal by the Met Police. It's not the first time the Met Police have put me on trial, so I can't go into a huge amount of detail on this. But yeah. I think everyone can sort of see what's happening here. I think everyone can see that the police are completely two-tier. You know, I've had to stand in a dock before when I've been beaten the ever-living daylight of by police and watch police get up and commit perjury on the stand against me. Obviously, once on down this route, they think, oh wait, this is actually a guy we really want to get. Do they recognise me? I believe one of them said that he recognised me. But there could be an agenda that they recognise me. It could be that they've checked my file and they go, oh, let's get this one. Because we know the Met Police are corrupt. We know that they've got an agenda. We know that they don't like someone filming them beating up peaceful protesters. As you remember, they went around telling people, and I've got this here. So this is, one second, I'm just checking where my address is. And so this is framed, and this says I was released under investigation for the alleged offence, participate in a gathering in public, outdoor place of more than 2 people in England, coronavirus. As if that's a crime.
But you framed it. But you framed it.
Yeah, this literally lives on my wall just here.
That is absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, look, so for people that don't really know you or are getting to know you, like, how did you get into this line of work? And actually, have you seen a distinct change from when you started to where we're at now?
So I'd never been a journalist. I didn't have any background in journalism. I didn't really know how to operate cameras. I hadn't been trained. I know a lot of people do journalism courses, or they do film courses, and they become expert in that. I started in 2020 because I was absolutely disgusted by the criminality of this government presuming that our rights are completely contingent on their discretion. They're not. Fundamentally, we all have fundamental natural rights, and I believe it's the core of English legal theory is that we have fundamental rights. Our rights come from nature, natural law. We fundamentally have rights, and the job of lawyers or people who understand the law or jurists is to discover law. It is not to be dictated by politicians. So the point is rational inquiry. We understand what the law is. It's not might makes right. It's not these people dictate to you. They say so. Like, that's not how you live. Like, fundamentally, we all have rights to life, liberty, property. And if a government won't recognise that in another country, we call that government totalitarian, or we call it authoritarian. And this government over here is happy to criticise foreign countries and tell them how bad they are. Yeah, happy to criticise Russia, and I'll happily criticise the Russian government. At the same time, why are there, I think it's something like more than 3 times as many people here locked up for speech as Russia, and Russia's got about 3 times the population that people that we have over here? Give me that. People shouldn't be being locked up for speech. It's unacceptable. And any government that does that is not legitimate. And furthermore, looking at our election, is our government legitimate when we have people who aren't even British voting in an election? I mean, I would put forth the argument that just about my entire adult life, except for, I would say, my vote to leave the European Union, just about my entire adult life, my vote has been completely flooded by migrant votes. So I've been disenfranchised by the mass migration that's gone on in this country. That's not acceptable. We are told that we have to be subjected to this and that, and live this way and do that, and abide by this regulation, okay, and do this, and you can associate in this, you have to pay this money and everything and all of that. And at the end of it, they say, but that's because you choose. You have a choice, which I don't even fully believe in. I think there are limits in what a government can do. But their argument is predicated on the idea that we collectively decide this. And then they let a bunch of people who aren't we, who are from a completely different, who have ownership, property rights in this land, vote in elections. Well, then I've just been disenfranchised. We know immigrants overwhelmingly vote for far left-wing parties like the Labour Party. So we are being disenfranchised. All it takes is for a migrant to come into my constituency and vote against me for me to have been disenfranchised. If they vote for the next best party in terms of let's say they go for, I'm going for Team A and they go for Team B, I've been disenfranchised by one person voting. It's unacceptable. Why should any foreign person vote in our elections ever? Why should any foreign person be sitting on a jury in this country? I'm glad in a way that we're having this discussion about juries because they want to abolish them, in order that we can strengthen juries. Because it's absolutely disgusting, because I have had to have people who aren't British sit in judgment over me as my peers. Well, they're not my peers. No person who's not British is my peer in this country. Full stop. Okay? They may be in a sort of humanitarian sense, the brotherhood of man. You know, when I meet them and we're speaking politely, I'll treat them as an equal. When they're in my country, we can talk as equals. But no, they are not legally, and they should not be legally my equal in my country, and neither should they be.
Sorry, I think we're having a little bit of technical issues.
Yeah.
I think the Wi-Fi is cutting in and out. So look, when you had the guy under citizen's arrest, and you were there thinking that the police were going to turn up and then this was going to be sort of looked at differently, how did you feel when then it all turned on you? I mean, what a shock. It was just like, here's the guy that we've actually sort of held, you know, under citizen's arrest. And then the next thing, you're then being arrested. I mean, what, again, is going on?
Well, I think people can see that. Not obviously, I requested that the police be called, but you know, I've gone over this. This is in the footage that has been put out by Monty Freedom Watch, and I've explained the situation. So the police have been called in to try and deal with the situation, and it's it's like they keep doing it to themselves. Every opportunity they are given to do the right thing, they throw it back in your face. We used to have a system in this country where people would be arrested by the people and taken to a court. And I'm just getting to the point where I believe that's probably the best situation, because being forced to go via the police force when the police force can be corrupt and is corrupt. I mean, what is one expected to do if one cannot answer the police when people commit crime? Are we meant to I don't know, just engage in some sort of blood feud, clan warfare? What are we meant to do?
I mean, Will, just on that, what does the incident say to you about the state of free speech in Britain today?
What free speech in Britain today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd like it. I mean, it's the one good thing that we've seen recently is with the social media, we've seen X start to outcompete the other social media sites, and because of that, we've got a lot more discussion on a lot of different media sites now. I mean, YouTube has been lighting up. I mean, we've seen, I think Tommy Robinson has his account on YouTube. Obviously, Donald Trump's got his account back on YouTube. You're seeing more and more dissident voices able to speak across these different platforms. I mean, that's good. But at the same time, what the government's doing is the government is cracking down harder. There's a good book called Lawfare Practical Guide by a man I know, Henry Martin, where he goes through this and he looks a lot of these, you know, so-called laws, these diktats. They bring them in, and there's a big fury. Oh, they'll use them like this. It'll be like 1984, and then they don't really use them for a few years. So they let everyone get comfortable, right? And they put through a couple of cases, so that all of their precedent in the court. And then once everything's perfectly in place and everyone's all comfortable, and this thing gains incumbency bias and it's established, then they absolutely hammer it and they go for you. I think the fact that they're doing this more and more indicates that they're getting weaker on the face of it. I mean, what they would like is they would like to do this behind closed doors. They would like no one to be able to notice. They would like sort of die in silence. And I've got to be honest, I have faced the same as this or worse before during lockdown, and unfortunately no one really heard about this. Like, the amount of times I've been beaten up, had my equipment smashed, I've been threatened, you know, obviously the putting on trial, right? There's the unlawful detention. I've had it all during the lockdown. No one really was able to speak about it. I mean, everyone goes, why is your Twitter so small? And then your YouTube much bigger. I go, because YouTube used to be 3 strikes. So you could sort of pause everything on YouTube and you knew where you were. Whereas Twitter, you just get booted. So we never really invested in Twitter at all in the lockdown, which is where the YouTube just was up over 120,000 now. But that really boomed during the lockdowns. And the Twitter, it just wasn't worth all of the effort because Twitter was the worst site.
Yeah,
we've seen a big change in that with Elon Musk making it one of the biggest free speech platforms that are out there currently now, Will. And I know that Monty's launched his new channel, Freedom Watch, which, by the way, is fantastic, folks. Make sure you check that out, Freedom Watch. You can find him on X and on YouTube. Fantastic presenter. He's doing a great job. Just launched a few weeks ago, I gather, Will, didn't he? I just want to ask you a quick question on the politicization of our police. It seems to me we have two-tier policing and justice in this country. We're all aware of that, but we all know about it. But when you're confronted with it on the street, you would expect the police, I know you can't comment on ongoing investigation, but you'd expect the police to protect you as a member of the public, as a journalist, as a member of the press, doing your job to protect you. Now, what I take from that video, and I can say this because I'm not being investigated, is, in my opinion, you were assaulted by the police officer. I know you can't comment, because what I saw happen was they agitated you to such a point where you were asking questions, and then he assaulted you, laid his hands upon you, which is classed as common assault. Okay, that's my take on what I saw. And then your reaction, of course, is justified in my opinion because the way that they handled you and treated you after. But what I noticed as well was the reaction from the crowd that were there, cheering and everything else. It seems that, you know, when it comes to debate, the left and the right, whatever you want to call it, I don't think that exists anymore, to be honest. It's just right and wrong. They seem to have a different take on debate as we do, because we would have those discussions normally, but they resort to other means. The way that I think stuff was thrown at you as well, some red paint or something like that.
It was
that
juice.
Juice or something?
Yeah, it was some sort of drink, something, and you can see in the footage this thing is this creature comes up and tries to go for my eyes, and it's like, okay, so you're basically trying to put some. I don't know what the drink was. I'm sure people could work out what the camera. You're just trying to blind me. And I was being held by the actual university themselves. So it's not just the students at the. Can you even call this a university, or what do you call it? So some sort of I don't know, some sort of far left paramilitary training camp. Like, what is the point of it? Talking about capturing the universities, it's called the London College of Communication. Apparently, the only way they can communicate is with violence.
Well, yeah.
But why are the staff of this university assaulting them? And why, why not trying to contain the students? It is their students, and it's a disgrace. I think that this place needs to apologise, sack all of the people who are involved in this, or it should be shut down. Like, why is any government funding going to fund anyone studying at this institution? And if this institution doesn't support free speech, and we saw the Tories bring in some sort of sort of pertaining, saying, oh, you should generally have free speech. If it's not going to support free speech, then shut it down. I mean, why are 50% of people going to universities? Because it was Tony Blair's plan to take working class kids, because the working class were obviously moving away from Labour. Take working class kids, transplant them out of their communities, take away that connection with previous generations, and pop them all over the country, displace them, and then they go back home, and then they don't really fit in anymore, or they'll go off and they'll stay in this little university bubble, and they'll get a job with the place. Blair purposely created this transient society where everyone's atomized. And that's what the universities are there to do. They are there to atomize and destroy our society. And a lot of the activism that comes off the left is basically funded by these universities. But these universities basically have a place for them to gather, a place for them to organize. And if there's involvement by the lecturers, then it's all being funded. They get tenured. If you happen to be of an actual proper liberal view, you can't get a job at a university, or there are very few of you. I know that Buckingham is considered one of the least worst universities at the moment, and they've got a couple of specifically sensible, you might say somewhat objectivist courses going on there that believe there's a real world. But I think particularly in subjects, why are we giving funding? Why are we paying to indoctrinate people? Why are we indoctrinating children? Why is the government even remotely involved in education? If you have children, then I don't see why you shouldn't be in charge of educating them, why you shouldn't be paying the school for them to go to. see why people are really shouldn't be funding their own child's education. It shouldn't be this expensive. There shouldn't be this much regulation, and we shouldn't be getting taxed to pay for. You've got to bear in mind, we're also getting taxed to pay for the education of children who aren't even from this country. So we have been turned into sort of slave class, paying for foreigners having children to educate the children of foreigners, and also to radicalise our own children. Move back to a free market system of education, or at the very least, let's move to a voucher system. People can take that and use that for home education, which, by the way, they want to abolish. I'm sure a lot of people saw my report for UK Column a week or two ago, and we were looking at the abolition. We're looking at the essential abolition of home education by I believe it's the Schools and Children's.
Yeah.
They don't want you educating your own kids. They don't want kids to have a link to the parents. There's this sort of chain of continuity, of tradition, of our culture that's been going down and down and down for thousands of years. And I thought it was absolutely monstrous. It was my nans who raised me. It was my nans who passed on our culture, our people, what it is to be us. And people don't even know the basics about our own history now. People don't even know some of the words to the basic songs.
Yeah.
I mean, education close to your heart, and
absolutely. I mean, especially in Wales, the education system is so corrupt, and it is again all about left woke ideology. And the children from the age of 3 up to 16 are actually taught about masturbation and actually how to touch themselves and how to actually speak up if they feel that they are wanting to be a trans child. You know, it's a whole indoctrination in itself. And we've actually had, you know, sort of a Welsh kind of group of mums come together to try and take, you know, this to court to say this is dangerous, this is an ideology, and we should be the ones governing how our children, you know, sort of are taught. And what happened was, again, it was just dismissed. It was like, we are fine in doing what we're doing. And it is so deep. It is so dark. But then when you look at the Fabians and what they're doing and Labour and how it's, you know, sort of the tentacles everywhere, you really start to see what's actually happening. And it's frightening because I've taken my child out of school and he has homeschooling. Absolutely. But what they are now doing is trying to ban homeschooling. And they're using excuses of case studies via social services where children have been abused, etc. And the percentage of people is so, to be honest, it's tiny compared to, you know, sort of what's actually really going on. It drives me mad because they twist and distort everything to suit their narrative. And Keir Starmer is such wanker, and I literally just can't cope with what he is doing, and I want to make a change. And I can imagine that this is why you've stepped out, and it's like, I cannot see what is happening to our country continue, and we want to make that change and make that difference. But then you get people who are saying, you're a grifter, this was a stunt, this is bullshit, you're just lying, you know, and it's like, what are you doing? You know, we are suffering because of people like you who can't really see what is truly happening. So what would you say back to the people that have said that this is a stunt and that you're a grifter?
Well, firstly, I mean, Monty's raised for security and also to repair the stuff that's smashed. I mean, my phone was smashed. The police have stolen, seized my camera. So he's trying to, you know, sort out things that were smashed and otherwise. But he's gonna need to hire security, I think, in future, or when it's going to be a campus like this. So this is one way that the left is going to drain people. They'll be violent towards you, force you into a situation you need security. Then that security is going to cost you money. So they want to bleed people dry. So fundamentally, I think people have to balance with their wallet. But I'm not doing any sort of legal crowdfunder. The thing that Monty's doing is trying to make sure that there's security in future, trying to what's been damaged and everything. Apart from that, I think the idea of being your child up to the government is just mental. Like, why would you? Like, the beauty of having a child, I think, having worked as a tutor, is that you get to teach them things. I mean, that was the lovely bit of the job, you know. And when I worked for a bit in the state system, you know, it was the adults that were the problem. It wasn't the children who were really the problem. It was the adults. And the state is the abuser. Is it? A lot of the girls who are getting abused by these Pakistani foreign Muslim rape gangs were coming out of the care homes. If the state is so much better than the private individual, private family that raises their children, why is it that so many of the girls that were being systematically abused were coming out of these institutions run by the state? If they just go to the state and everything's happy and it's fine and it's like Tracy Beaker, which is a massive, massive lie. But if I just want to say, anyone who believes that the state raising children is anything like that is completely deluded. It is a truly horrific experience, and we should have the state completely away from children. And if there is any reason for abuse, that should be reported in the way any other crime is reported, and that person needs to be taken to court, found guilty beyond reasonable doubt, and then and only then the child should then be moved to the next best appropriate person, which I would say is either a different parent, a family member, right, a neighbor, or a godparent, because we used to have godparents back in the day who would step in, who would care for children. That's something from our past that we've, and you know, people treat it as this sort of honorific. I've met people who've got godparents who go, "Oh yes, I every couple of years I get 10 in a birthday card." That's not what being a godparent is. Being a godparent is taking that responsibility to look after this child. The parent can't be there. We need to go back to that set of values. We need to go back to a system where godparents are nominated, and maybe the godparents are actually on the birth certificate or on whatever form of documentation there is of birth, so that we've got all of this sorted out before there's ever an issue with a parent.
Yeah, I mean, like I have this thing and this theory, and it if you look at Keir Starmer and you look how he is treating us, you know, we are gagged. We are told that we're not allowed to speak. We are laughed at. If we actually do proclaim what is really, truly happening, you know, he will stop us from speaking. There are so many things that actually just scream coercion and, you know, coercive and controlling behavior. So we are literally in an abusive relationship with Starmer, with Labour, with the government. We are affiliated into this relationship, not by, I didn't vote him in, but I am still stuck in an abusive relationship with this guy. But if I were to go to the police about a man that was doing this to me, they would look under the, you know, the law of coercion and controlling behaviour and the abuser, and we would have something that we could do to get out of it because the police can intervene. But we are still stuck with this man. And, you know, I find it, again, abhorrent. And I actually put a video out recently, and I did it with like a trigger warning. And I just said, you know, I'm being abused. You know, this is one man that's doing it to me, but he's actually implementing people and saying this and saying, and everybody was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. And I was like, it's Starmer. It is Starmer. And they're like, oh, shit, I've never seen it like that before. And it's horrific. And I struggle with this man completely.
It's the complete overreach of government power on the state involved in everybody's everyday life, and the attack on our civil liberties. I mean, we can go back to the lockdowns, right? And what happened during that period. I mean, some of the things they were doing, and then they wanted to jab children as young as 12. We talked about this on the show as well. They always seem to go for the children. There's always a target on children's backs, and it really gets me, because we have to do everything to protect them and future generations, and that is why we do what we do. That's why I know you, as an independent journalist of GB Resistance, Will, you do what you do, because you want to expose the truth. You want to let people know what's going on out there, because we want to not just highlight it, but we want to put a stop to it. And I know that you've been on many of these protests to cover some of these stories. But for the first time, watching that video yesterday, it reminded me of how dangerous it can be when you are actually out there. That, you know, we do face viable threats on our lives, don't we?
Yes, I think a lot of people want to say that there are good people in the police, and I genuinely don't believe this. I believe that if people sign up to an organisation, that as part of the job, you can be asked, and you would then have to be obligated to go and assault someone, right, and falsely imprison them, exercising their fundamental natural right as an Englishman or Welshman or British free speech, then you're a disgusting human being. You're a bad person. Yeah, they go and they lock people up for it's like what? Property, owning a herb like weed. Like, that's not a crime. Where is the victim? Show me the victim, and we'll have a discussion about whether it's a crime. If there is no victim, there is no crime. Full stop. And we need to move back to a proper traditional conception of law being discovered. I don't consider any of this to be legitimate. I think fundamentally we all need to recognize it as illegitimate, and I think we should ostracize all of the people enforcing it. You know, if anyone says, "Oh, I'm a police officer," say, "Get out, get away from me. You're a disgusting criminal," and treat them like the thugs and the criminals they are. Say, "Get away. I don't want people near me." Do not serve them in your establishment. Do not have them in a circle of friends. If somebody is going to associate and date one of them or marry one, to get out. I don't want anything to do with you. You're a traitor. You are literally sleeping with the enemy. Get out. They should have no place in our society. And one way we can do this, but fundamentally we do need to seize power in this country in a lawful manner. And then we need prosecution. We don't just need mass deportations. We need mass prosecutions. People need to be prosecuted en masse for violating the fundamental rights in the country. And let's say before James II fled this country, everyone said he's the king. Well, he's the king, you know. And then we had William of Orange come over and we chucked him out. Before Charles I, before we cut off his head, he's the king. He's the king. We lost Naseby and a host of other battles, and we've had a 50% success ratio so far in executing kings called Charles. And depending, well, it depends whether you consider Charles II to be tyrannical, but you could say we've literally had 100% success record by the end of the reign of executing tyrannical called Charles. But fundamentally, I don't believe that these people in power, whether it would be one who styles themselves a king or anything like that, is above the law. I think it was Henry the Preston who said, "The law makes the king, and so the king is under the law." Simple as. These people need to be put on trial, and they need to face lawful consequence. I'm a believer in capital punishment. Fundamentally, I believe in capital punishment.
You do as well.
I do, yeah.
Many people, as say someone like Nadim Zahawi is killed, they believe in capital punishment for Nadim Zahawi. These people should not be ever seeing sunlight again. And that's what we need. We don't need a sort of swap of who's in the leaves of power, and all these people will pay. Because what lesson does that send to the future? So long as you've got power, you can do what you like, and someone else will come in and they might change it, they might make it a bit better, but it's fine. There'll be no consequence for you. No, prosecute them, mass prosecutions.
I mean, I think the problem we've had is as well, our judicial system has been so weak, but strong in the wrong areas, and weak in the areas they should be punishing people. And we've seen with Hugh Edwards, with graphic child pornography in his computer. He loses his job at the BBC, one of the high-ranking paid guys there, but nothing is done. He gets a suspended sentence and walks off into the sunshine with a nice package in his pocket. You know, when people see this, these people being let off, and then you see others being put in prison for tweets or posts on social media, there is an imbalance in our judicial system that it doesn't work. Now, we call it two-tier justice, but it goes much deeper than that, because those who are serving the justice, we know many of those are corrupt to the core. I mean, you take the Supreme Court, for example. That's one particular case there where they've blocked consistently people who should be deported from this country for criminal acts. They have been stopped by these cases in London because it is against their human rights. Well, I'm sorry, what about the human rights of the people that they have done this damage or hurt or in some cases raped or murdered, what about their human rights then? And I think one of the things with the Supreme Court, the many issues around the ECHR, we've discussed in the show many times, Rogue, is that we need to repeal or reverse many of those things that prevent us from dealing with criminals. I mean, I'm kind of an advocate for Trumpian style policing in the UK, and I know a lot of people won't agree with me.
Get nice.
But I am. I think we should see them for what they are. These are criminals that have broken their way into our country, and they should be deported without question immediately. Otherwise, it'll be your child or your wife next, because they're all over the place. They're not just in communities like cities in Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, London, but they're now in rural parts of Wales.
Yeah.
In places you never expect them to be. We have HMOs opening up all over the place. And landlords are being paid extortionate amounts of rent, 5 years up front, huge amounts of money, which is luring them in and saying, yeah, we'll use this property. And they're trying to do it, literally overnight by busing them in through private taxi firms with contracts.
Look at Crowborough.
Crowborough is a perfect example.
Exactly.
Busing them in at night. And these people are not British people. They don't belong here. They come here with a civilization that is alien to ours, and they want to impose it upon us, the British people, and we cannot allow this to happen. And we have to take massive steps towards getting rid of what Tony Blair did in the 90s and reverse most of what he put into action here in the UK, Will.
Well, in terms of my personal opinion, I believe it goes beyond what's happened since the 90s. I'm a liberal. I believe in the rights to liberty of property. And I think a lot of people want to malign liberalism because a lot of far left socialists dress themselves up as liberals. Fundamentally, liberalism is about property rights. To whom do these islands belong, if not to us?
Mm-hmm.
This is our homeland. It should be disposed of as we choose to dispose of it, and no one else should ever get a say. Full stop. It is us. It is no one else. It is not someone else's island. We should not be forced to share it with other people. We might have some tourists. We have some people here on temporary visas. But the idea of having a permanent visa, unless you have somehow married into our nation, is alien to me. Why should anyone have a permanent visa? I can think of maybe a very few exceptions. And the one exception that I would is we genuinely did have some refugees. But I'm sure you saw the clip that Monty put out. These people come from France. You've probably seen the footage from when we went over to Calais, and we found them just sitting there, sitting around in a safe country, and they didn't want to speak. Yeah, they chucked water at us. They shouted at us. They shout Allahu Akbar. This is our country, not theirs. And unless they have a good reason to be over here, they should go home. I don't understand why these people should be in this country. I don't understand why we should be forced to suffer for other people. Because what happens is wages go down and house prices go up, and those people are being turned into rent slaves. Why should people suffer? Why should English people suffer? Why should people be put in danger? This is our land. It is our property. And if they don't belong here, then they don't get a say. And we need to be able to freely. And it's property rights. I think there is this sort of instinct to go, oh, we need to turn to authoritarianism. No, we need to turn back to true liberalism.
So there's a march tomorrow in Wrexham, and it's a peaceful protest because there's an HMO, and again the illegal immigrants are coming over and they're housing them in Wales, and Wrexham is saying no. So Wrexham Unite have actually orchestrated a peaceful march, and it's going from one location to another, and then they've asked me to talk. Now, I am happy to talk, but I've just seen recently as well that I think it was in Crowborough with Dave Atherton, and I think her name was Holly. Was it Holly England? She was just arrested as well for speaking. So even though the police were organised, the police were actually positioned because they said, look, we are going to be doing this. So obviously it's the right thing to do, get the police. But then she, as a speaker who had introduced what was happening and then told them, she got arrested.
You definitely get arrested. You
I probably will.
You definitely get arrested. I mean, you can't keep your mouth shut, and neither should you, because being passionate about your children and your community. I mean, that's become a far right thing. We know it's not. If you care about your country, care about family, culture, history, all those things that make us great, you are classified and tagged as a far-right extremist. How on God's green earth have we come to this conclusion? No, we know it's not true. We know in our hearts of hearts we're good people. We're law-abiding citizens of this country. We love our history. We love our culture. And here in Wales, we're very passionate about our country as well, as you are, I suppose, in England and Scotland and Northern Ireland. It's part of the United Kingdom, Britain and Northern Ireland.
Here is my family portrait of the clock tower in Treviso, back in South Wales. So I'm passionate
I
about
think you told me before you had some Welsh in here. You did tell me last time when I spoke to you, you were a bit half Welsh or something, didn't you? That's fantastic, mate.
The news is on that side.
Everyone claims to be half Welsh.
I'm Welsh.
No. But Will, look, what you've been through obviously is not something we wish on anybody, but obviously it highlights a more important issue with the work that you do. We know that it costs money, okay? And you've been affected, your livelihood's been affected, your camera's been smashed, your phone has been busted up. I know I've seen that with you, I think with the interview with Monty. Now,
I've got bits of glass falling off it, so I'm not sure if everyone can sort of tracking.
No.
Yeah, so we've got some. It's smashed on the back and also on the front, and we've got some sort of glasses falling off of it. So it's sort of a bit bent as well.
Oh,
so I think it might last a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. Where can people support? I know you've set up a crowdfunding page, and I want to direct people there. We're going to put in the links in this live. But where can people go to support? Because I know cameras are not cheap, right, when it comes to doing what you do.
Well, what Monty's doing is he's going to be replacing what was broken, and he's going to be implementing security. So there is a link on Freedom Watch GB across all platforms, and that is for equipment, and that's also for anything that was damaged, destroyed, and that is for security future. So that's what he's going ahead with. In terms of raising court costs or anything like that, I am going to be speaking with lawyers a little over the coming week. We're going to sit down and we're going to work out exactly what we're going to do. So I know everyone says, okay, have you set up, are you doing this, are you doing that? Legally speaking, I'm going to need to sit down with some lawyers and go through everything. I've been speaking with a few lawyers who are friends and been incredibly helpful. So I have to thank the lawyers who have helped me out. I'm not going to mention their names, but I'm going to keep at the moment. But thank you to those lawyers who've helped me out. And then I will be announcing what we'll be doing, whether it's to sue the police, whether it's to sue the university. I think, it's probably one of the reasons they've decided to charge this is because, worried. They want to go after me. They want to cover their backsides as per usual. And they don't want anyone coming after them. And I think they've realised that what they were doing when they beat during the lockdowns isn't necessarily going to be tolerated the same way that it was tolerated during the lockdowns. Because then I was anti-vaxxer, but now I think everyone's seen the life for it, what it is. I think they've seen that these, poisonous so-called gene therapy injections have killed millions upon millions of people, if not tens or hundreds of millions. Well, I'll probably say tens of millions. But you look at the damage that's been done across loads and loads of people. That's why I think, it's weird that Farage is sort of shocked and there's such a backlash to Zahawi. The public hate him. We hate him. We hate all of these people, and we want to see them on trial.
Absolutely.
So, if people can support for their security, and not everything bled dry, then I'm sure Monty would very much appreciate that. I'm probably going to be filming for.
I was going to mention on that, we've got some friends who are based in London, security guys. We'll speak to them. I'll phone him later today, and we can have a chat and put him in touch with you and Monty. Well, hopefully if he can help, then I'm sure that they'd be interested in that. And of course, with your equipment as well, we need to get that restored because your reporting is crucial in understanding what's going on in the ground. Yeah. So we'll make sure we push the crowdfunder here on Richie and Rogue Show as well when we roll.
Absolutely, it deserves
it. Thank you so much. It's a bit like I sort of realised I was like, so if I do want to go out and cover something, I've not got the Osmo, and then this phone, if I put in a thing, I'm just like that, all the glass is going to start coming out. So I'm a little bit worried. I'm like, I feel sort of naked without being able to go down.
Well, if anybody knows you, you never see Will without a camera or a microphone
or his
in your
gimbal.
face. I mean, you know it. I mean, you're so tall as well. You can't be missed, mate. You know, in a crowd, you know, everyone sees you and knows you. You know, from GB Resistance Media. I mean, we know who you are. I mean, you're well known in that area now, aren't you? And I think it's important we get around you and rally behind you and show you as much support as we can, because we value and appreciate everything that you do, mate. We really, really do.
Yeah, thank you for all you do, and it's just brilliant to actually have this with you to just find out what's really going on. But I do need one little piece of advice. So tomorrow, when I do my speech, what should I say and what shouldn't say, and what can I do to not get arrested?
Oh, well, it's arbitrary. This is the thing. When they say fear, harm, and stress, they take that subjectively. They don't use reason. So I'd say the truth. That's the most important thing. And unfortunately, they may come for you as they're coming for me, and they're possibly trying to put me in prison like they tried before. You just got to accept this, because that is a sacrifice we must make for our country. A lot of people went through a lot of suffering in order for this country to be free. And when I look at these police, I look at this, a criminal government, I see them, they lay down this poppy once a year, and when they do their big parade, they might as well have defecated public television on the cenotaph. That's the way I see these people. The idea of them laying down a wreath, I find insulting. I think they should just not attend, because they clearly do not respect anything for which our ancestors sacrificed. So we just have to fight. We have to do what is right. We have to tell the truth, and we have to somehow take power. Whether that's through people doing journalism, people going out and becoming musicians, whether it's people becoming activists, whether it's people doing all sorts of things. Some people get into health. They want to make people healthy. Some people go out and they work a job, and they go and they donate that to different causes. They invest. Some people are trying to transform the arts, and they're putting on different plays that aren't filled with I don't know, a sort of black Muslim lesbian as I don't know, Henry V or something. I mean,
Absolutely.
That'd be a very interesting speech at half Fleur, I tell you that.
Oh God.
Well, listen, you've been amazing, mate. We've loved having you on. Will you come back on again and talk to us?
I would love to come back again.
Oh, mate, that's fantastic. What's happened is actually... Sorry, we've got a technical issue. We're backwards and forwards. What's happened is we've gone live without planning to go live. We were going to pre-record, but we've actually gone live. So we... but everything's been said has been perfect. Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be a pre-record, right? We got people commenting away. I know you've been sabotaged. It was my fault. I know
that bit at the start where I was telling you where all the stolen jewels were from the jewelry.
No, that bit was all right.
They know where all the diamonds are hidden.
They'll have to watch that bit back, I think, to get that bit.
They know where the diamonds are. It's awful. And then you were talking, the robberies that you've been up to with everything.
I know. We've sold ourselves down the river here, guys.
Yeah. Like, that's it. We're finished. They're going to come for us.
Job done. We might as well pack up now and leave.
But Will, on a serious note, thank you for your time today. We know you'll be in high demand at the moment, obviously, because of what's happened. And I'm sure Monty as well. There'll be a lot on the Freedom Watch channel as well. So please check out Monty's channel. Doing a great job there, and we want to send our love and support to him as well, and to all our viewers and subscribers who are watching an unusual time, an unusual day, because we never broadcast normally today. It's normally at evenings, Wednesdays and Sundays, and our brunch show on Saturday morning. Don't forget that as well, myself and Rogue. But we'll be back, I think, next week, Rogue, with me. We will. We'll be back next week, but you're going away. I am. It's your birthday, so a happy birthday to you. Thank you very much. And so guys, listen. It is the time. 51 years of age, look. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? No, 65. My eyes are going, I know that much. And my earring looks a bit. But Will, thank you so much. And we look forward to having you on the show another time, and give our love to Monty as well. And we'll catch you soon, my friend. Take care and thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that was good.
Do you know what? I mean,
Enjoyed that.
what were the technical issues? We
Oh.
disappeared, and then Jenny was like, "You're back," and it's like,
know.
where the hell have we disappeared
I
to?
know. Nightmare.
Obviously, we've talked about all of our secrets in the beginning, and it wasn't supposed to be aired.
I know this was supposed to be a pre-record going out tonight at 9 p.m. And it went live. It's a good job that did we pull it off? I think we did.
I think we managed to.
We did.
I think we managed.
And I think we're streaming this on Facebook as well. If you're watching on Facebook, please follow us on there as well. But when we watch on Facebook, I think this is when we get technical issues, you know.
Do you think so?
I think so. Yeah, I do, because we're on X as well and YouTube. Can you say a huge big thank you to everyone watching on X, and you're on YouTube as well, and of course Facebook. You love the Facebook.
I do love my Facebook. Can I just say, 60 days, we have managed to get 8,000 followers.
That's amazing.
That's really good in 60 days, isn't it? So, yeah.
It is. And we've got lots of guests coming up as well in the next few weeks. Do you want to mention any, or should we keep them for?
Okay, I am going to just say one thing to you, and then you have to guess who it is. Are you ready?
Yeah. Do I have to guess?
No. I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy.
Bye bye.
There we go.
Yeah, they're on with us, the brothers, if you can guess who that is. We've also got Gareth Ike coming on.
You're
as
not
well.
supposed to say that one.
Oh, was you supposed to say it, were you?
No, we just weren't supposed to tell people. We're supposed to just drum up some
Well,
interest. Gareth Ike.
He hasn't confirmed the date yet, so you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's and anybody else?
No,
Oh,
the rest is a secret now. You've
Is it
given
a
two
secret?
really good people away.
That's okay. We keep him coming back for more.
Okay, Ben Habib,
Ben Habib and Andrew Bridgen.
Andrew Bridgen.
Andrew Bridgen, and lots more as well. So I'll keep my mouth shut now before I tell you what else we got coming on the next few weeks. I want to say a huge thank you to our team who makes this show happen.
Thank you, guys.
To Jake and to Nikki and to everyone.
Claire Bear
as well, who was moderating today. We thank you so much, because without them, this broadcast couldn't happen. So we send our loves and appreciation to you all. And thank you all for watching tonight. And tonight, is it tonight? No, it's all about right.
It's the afternoon still.
And we'll catch you on another episode here very, very soon on Richie and Rogue Unfiltered.
Big love.